Hey, I'm Walt from WaltNPA.com here with, normally it's either a cigar video, a shooting video, or, something in between. And this time around, it's actually a scouting video, as you can, well, maybe you can tell from the camo, but I spent a couple of hours out this morning, actually an hour and 28 minutes this morning, looking around the woods, trying to finalize a hunting spot for the archery deer season that's upon us here in Pennsylvania. I'm in the 5C area, and yesterday was the start of doe season, early doe season in this area, and I want to get out and partake, but I put things off until the last minute. And, the easiest thing to take care of was the one that I kept putting aside. So, I decided I want to get into hunting. I start doing all this stuff to prepare, going out and buying camo, researching areas to hunt. I'm actually getting out, I'm scouting. I purchased a bow, I'm practicing with the bow. So I'm doing all of this stuff to prepare, but I kept putting off actually getting the license. I thought, it's easy, I'll do it later. Well, it got kind of last minute. I went out, I purchased the license, which is really easy to do. I already have the mandatory Pennsylvania Hunter Safety course that I took in November of last year. So it's just a matter of running down to Walmart, purchasing a license, and being done with it. It's that easy. So I went out, I got my license, but your license doesn't come with a doe tag. You have to send in for one. Most of the other areas in Pennsylvania are sold out. 5C is just saturated with doe tags. Fortunately, I live in 5C, so it kind of works out. I sent in for 2 doe tags, wishful thinking, but I sent in for 2 last week, and they haven't arrived yet. I have to send the applications into the county treasurer. Basically, they cash your check. They write, they send you tags, and you're good to go. I didn't realize it until after I had already mailed the applications in that it's so late that you can actually buy them over the counter now, which kind of sucks. I wish I'd have known that ahead of time. I would have just ran down and picked them up in person. I don't live far from the courthouse. Maybe a 20-minute drive. So I don't have a doe license to participate in the early season, the early doe season here in 5C, but it is definitely something I'm planning on doing. I'm spending a lot of time, in the woods looking around, trying to find things. And leading up to this, I really have been kind of drawing a blank, or, something in the dark, whatever that little catchphrase is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I was just trying to find a good potential area for hunting, and being that I've never done this before, it's really difficult. You read different things, and you have people tell you things, and not all of it really applies to hunting public land. For instance, if you flip on the Outdoor Channel or the Sportsfish Channel and you start watching those guys deer hunt, it's nothing. It's not even remotely close to what you're going to experience, or at least what I've been experiencing with public land. You've constantly got people coming through, horseback riders, dogs, all kinds of critters to spook away the deer, including people, and it's really tough. These deer seem to have been educated along the way, and they've become very smart. So I'm finding it to be a bit of a struggle, to get on the track of the deer. Finding food sources has been difficult. Finding droppings has been impossible. I haven't found any, not even yet. It's been very, very difficult. Fortunately, I had a guy. Actually, there was a whole community that helped me out at huntingpa.com. I started posting aerial photos and some information about where I was looking around, and some people sort of point me in the right direction, which I thought was really cool. In addition to that, I also had someone contact me, 2 people actually, contact me about actually taking me out in this area. 2 other people that offered to take me out that were 3.5, 4 hours away. I would have loved to have taken them up on it, but it just doesn't work out, being that they're that far away. But I met up with a guy on Friday, and he took me around. He was showing me some things, and it was a really good experience because I got to see things. I got that firsthand experience where I'm actually being shown things instead of trying to find them on my own. I got to see some deer tracks, which was really interesting. I got to see where they were feeding in the field. I didn't actually get to physically see the deer, but I got shown all of the signs of the deer feeding in the field. So that was really cool, and I felt like I came away with a lot of information. So when I went out this morning, I went back to those areas that I was being shown around in, and I think I've narrowed it down to one particular spot I want to look at. Or actually, I want to get up in a tree and scout it out, and just see how it goes. Worst case scenario, I see some deer off in the distance, and I at least know where to go in that regard. But I'm feeling much better about this whole thing now that I've got a little bit of first-hand experience, and I've sort of, I don't want to throw around the word mentor here, but being shown things firsthand was it went a long way in educating me about hunting. So. But the rest of this video is just actually me out scouting around, so enjoy the scenes of nature and my constant rambling. So thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the video. Well, I'm back in the woods again looking around. I came across what I thought was a half decent spot. It didn't really look like it went anywhere, but I just had a moderately good feeling about it. So I started coming down a path, and it kind of dead ended. There's a fallen tree, and then beyond the tree is just thick cover. So I kind of wandered around a little bit. There's another small trail that leads to where I'm standing right now, which is right beside a creek. And from the looks of it, this is I would imagine this is a man-made trail. It's kind of trampled, and looks like someone was shooting something. It's a shotgun shell. Maybe not shooting anything at all. It's an unspent shell. But someone was definitely back here to have dropped that shotgun shell, and it's just kind of trampled back here. So I'm gonna go looking for another place to scout out. Well, I'm not far from where I was, a few hundred yards. And I think back in that area is the bedding area. It's really thick and tangled everywhere. I mean, there's not really any good place to get in, and it looks like there's a lot of game trails coming in and out. I don't know whether they're all deer, but if I kind of get down, scrunch down, I could probably make it through several of them. If I crawled, I can probably make it through all of them. But being that deer are a bit taller, I would imagine that I would need to see kind of a substantial trail in order to sort of make any sense out of it. But I think back where I was is essentially the bedding area, and over here, this is private property, but it's a big field, and it looks like the deer have kind of gone through and eaten the top of those plants. I had someone show me around a couple of days ago, and these were some of the things that they pointed out to me to look for. Actually, he pointed out this very same spot, and he was telling me to kind of keep an eye on it. So, if I could find the the path from what I think is the food source into the bedding area, I would hunt the place in between, or the pail, or the trail, or the path in between, and I'd feel very comfortable with that. So I do a little bit more looking around, and then kind of wrap up and around and see what else I can find this morning. Well, I was kind of milling around that area where I showed you the field with the sort of chewed up soybean crop, and there looked like there was kind of a path that weaved through the grass. It was kind of pushed back in areas, and it just looked like it was kind of the traveled route out of the whole grassy patch. So I just started wandering around it. It followed the edges, and based on what I've read and what I've been told, I know that deer like to move around the edges of things, and that's kind of what I did. I just moved around, and I came across this trail that's opening into the woods, and I'm maybe 20 yards from the opening, and I think this is a good spot to set up. I think this is where I want to set up, actually. You know, there's the opening. If you look really hard, you can probably see the orange posted sign on the tree out there. So again, we're really not far at all. You know, maybe 20 yards. But I think I want to get up in this tree right here. I'm planning on picking up a climber this weekend. And, you know, there's a couple of problem areas. What looks like a dead branch coming off of it, I can cut off. It looks like a dead branch there. There's a vine that wraps up around that I can cut off. And by the time I'm done, you know, I can be a good 15, 18 feet in the air and get a really good vantage point of what's around. I don't want to go too far down here because I don't want to spook anything. You know, I don't want to get, if I'm right and the bedding area is down in this way, I don't want to get too close and get sent all over the place. You know, I just kind of want to ease in. You know, that was some of the advice that was given to me, to kind of find a place, ease in, set up. You know, if I don't, keep an eye out on things, see if I can see any movement, you know, see where deer are coming in and out, and then, you know, maybe press on a little bit further the next time I'm out. So, you know, following that advice, I think I want to go up this tree and keep an eye out on what's going on. Now, actually, I see a bit of a clearing a little bit further. I think there's I think that's actually one of the paths that loop around. And right on the other side of that path is what I think is the bedding area. So this is kind of a little island in between a path out a little bit further and the same path that kind of loops around. It's really thick on the other side of that path. So I think I found a somewhat decent spot. It looks like this trail goes out further and then back out across that path. And where it goes from there, I really don't know. But I kind of like what I'm seeing. I don't know that it's ideal, but it's got me near a food source and what I think is the bedding area, so I'm feeling pretty confident with it. I know what you're thinking. Gab, 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 gab. Camera's back on again. I just popped back out of the woods and I was starting on my way back out towards where my car is. There's another trail that goes wraps around this field behind me, but I came across what looks like another path through the woods, and it's actually more of a reassurance, because from that tree that I was looking at, I should be able to see this path out in front of me, the path that I came in on, out that way a little ways, and I should be able to see the opening for that food source. I'll also be able to see the people trail. Here is it. And up a little bit further, you can see it kind of wraps around and it goes around that island that I talked about. So as it comes through, I should be able to see it on the other side. So I should have a pretty good vantage point from within this bit of an island. Again, it's just a little more reassurance. I don't know if it's the right place to be, but it's the best place I've found so far, and I feel pretty good about it. Alright, so, you know, this is kind of becoming the theme. Well, a couple of steps, turn the camera back on. But behind me is where I was. This is that trail that wraps around that little bit of an island. And this is a path I came across earlier, but really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. Because I wanted to get down around this island. There's a creek down there, which you saw, which I thought maybe would have been a little better. So I kind of bypassed this trail and kept on walking. But this trail comes out, crosses over this path, and then heads right into these soybean fields. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell from here through all the brush, but it looks all chewed up through there. So, you know, again, more of a reassuring sign that I'm in a good, solid area. It's just a matter of finding out precisely where I want to be, and you know, for the time being, I think that island is the place I want to be. Well, I went back down in that path a little ways, and I started hearing this loud booming voice, almost like there was a conversation going on between two people. and I heard it sounded like they were a ways off. So I kind of stopped and just kind of looked around and listened, and they got closer and closer. And then finally I decided, okay, I was going to come out and just kind of come back out of the woods and see what was going on. And on my way out, I see 2 dogs go past, and as I came out of the woods, there was a guy trailing them who was out for a walk, and I must have spooked him, because he had this look of panic in his eyes, and his dogs turned around and started running towards me, and he's trying to stop the one goes around him, and he yells, they're friendly. I knew right away when I saw them they were pit bulls, and I have a pit bull at home, and my pit bull's temperament's the exact same way. It's oh my people, and just kind of charges up on him, all happy, tongue out, tail wagging. It was the same thing with these dogs. So I stopped and talked to him for a few minutes, and it was kind of funny, because I've run into the same thing that he has, where people are absolutely terrified of the dogs, and as soon as he saw me, he thought the worst, because here's his 2 dogs and this guy in the woods. He said that he walked up on someone else before, and they kind of freaked out and ran. But real nice dogs, very friendly, nice guy. But I came out back around, and here he comes again. But here's some more area in the woods, or actually this is that area in the field where it looks like it's been eaten up some more. Or this is actually another spot around further. I'm not quite sure where the deer are coming from.